Hey, good morning, everybody. My name's Anthony. Thanks for coming to Bible study with me. Let's start off in some prayer. Father, I thank you so much for today. I pray that you can open our hearts and open our minds to your word this morning. I pray that you speak through me, Lord. Give me the words to say, the ideas. Father, let your will be done, not mine. I thank you and I praise you and I just lift up your holy, precious name. Amen. All right. So a couple of days ago, we um, started going through Matthew 24. So we're going to pick back up in verse 21. So if you haven't, go back and watch those. Um, all right. So 21. For then there will be a great tribulation, such as has not occurred since the beginning of the world until now, nor ever shall. And unless those days had been cut short, no life would have been saved. For the sake of the elect, those days shall be cut short. So the days themselves are going to be shorter days. And then the elect, for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. The elect are going to be the people that get saved after the rapture, that have to go through the tribulation. And then also the Israelites, right? The Jews. Then picking back up in 23, then if anyone says to you, behold, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe him. For the false Christs and false prophets will arise, and will show great signs and wonders, so as to mislead, if possible, and even if mislead and um, let me just start that whole one over. 24, starting in verse 24. For the false Christs and false prophets will arise, and will show great signs and wonder, so as to mislead, if possible, even the elect. So there's going to be people that are going to rise up and be able to do supernatural things. And they're going to say that they are Christ. Now, remember back in verse 15, that's when the abomination of desolation happens. That's when, before that, the Antichrist, the man, is going to get shot, or I'm assuming shot. It's an injury to the head, so I'm assuming shot. Then he will come back to life, and when he comes back to life, Satan is going to be possessing that body. So he will be able to do, as it says right here, signs and wonders, and he will. Um, um, let's see. Picking back up in 25, behold, I have told you in advance. If therefore they say to you, behold, he is in the wilderness, do not go forth. Or behold, he is in the inner room, do not believe them. For just as the lightning comes from the east, the flashes even and flashes even to the west, so shall the coming of man be. Wherever the crop is, there a venture will gather. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give light, and the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of heaven will be shaken. So I think this is going to be, yeah, I was just going to say, I think this is going to be right before Jesus comes back to take control of earth. Um, when the sun will be darkened and the moon will be darkened and the stars fall. Um, that's what I was getting ready to say. And then I glanced down and just a couple of words popped out in verse 30, and I was correct. So verse 30, and then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and then the tribulation, and then all the tribes of earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on a cloud of the sky with power and great glory. He will stand forth his and he will send forth his angels with great trumpets, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, and he will send forth his angels with great trumpets, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the sky to the other. So that was verse 31. All right, verse 32. Now, now learn the parable from the fig tree. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about a parable. When its branches has already become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. Okay. Even so, too, when you see these things, recognize he is near, right at the door. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Okay, that's some good stuff. So the last verse I read was 34. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. When you read all of the material in the Bible about the end times and the tribulation, each book's got a little bit of a puzzle, right? You got to put them together. Daniel is the one that's got the keys, all the keys in it, and Revelation's got more details of some of the trumpets and stuff like that, but Daniel's got all the fine details, and then there's other books as well. But truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. That's referring to so Israel was not Israel was not a nation. And then in 1947, 40, now I don't remember. Now that I'm saying it on a video, I don't remember. I think it's 1947. They became a nation. the generation that saw that is what they're referring to, what it's referring to as they will not pass away. So that generation will see all of this happen. So that's what that's referring to. Okay, where are we at on time? Okay, we can do a little bit more. Possibly, it depends on how much I talk, right? All right, picking back up in 35. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour no man knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. So I believe that that was true. I believe that that Jesus does know now. I think that, obviously this is just speculation at this what I'm saying, but this is just my opinion. This is not anything that's in the Bible. But I believe that Jesus does know now. Once he ascended to heaven, I think he got that information. But I don't know. 37. For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days which were before the flood, they were eating, drinking, they were marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. And they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away. So shall the coming of man be. So there's going to be just like in the days of Noah. In the days of Noah, there was rampant sin everywhere. The angels had come down and mated with women and created a whole different breed of species, which is in the Bible called the Nephilim, which are giants. These giants had superhuman abilities, things that we're not even all sure on what they were able to do. But they're not human and they're not angels. They're half breeds, right? Just like, I want you to think about it like this. All these fairy tales we're hearing, there's truth behind them all. There's certain types of stories that no matter where you are on Earth, you're going to hear very similar stories. And gods with an S mating with humans is one of them. So I believe at that time, the fallen angels were portraying themselves as gods, mating with humans. So like Zeus and then Hercules is just an example. Those types of stories are true. And the Bible backs that up in Genesis 6, right? And then there's a whole other book that is not in the Bible that was dated back before the Bible, that's got a lot of interesting information in it. It's called the Book of Enoch. And Enoch is one of two people that were raptured to heaven, which was also found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So it definitely dates back, and it's definitely, because the original Bible had like 88 different books in it. Now it's, what, 60 something? I don't remember. So anyways, getting on a tangent here. Running out of time. All them dang squirrels with me talking, right? All right, we will pick back up in verse 40 tomorrow. Thanks for your guys' time this morning, and you have a great rest of your day. Love you. Bye.